Okay, so we're gonna start with another type of chemical reaction known as decomposition. Now, what is a decomposition? It is a reaction in which one reactant forms two or more products, and the example is down at the bottom. Now, to make it clear, a decomposition reaction is gonna happen because the reactant, which is the potassium chloride, could absorb energy, and as a result, it will decompose into potassium chloride and oxygen. So we have two products and we have one reactant. Now, our main objective in this decomposition reaction is to balance the equation. So remember, balancing equation is real important in the chemical reaction because we need to preserve the law of conservation of mass. So we know that mass is can could not be lost nor could not be gained. It still is there. Mass is reactant mass is equal to product mass, or kind of like that. Now, so let's start the balancing now by writing down the number of atoms down at the bottom, and then to balance it is like a coefficient number for trial and error. Okay, so let's start with potassium. So there's only one potassium, there's only one chlorine, and there's three oxygen. Okay, so this is the reactant side. Now let's go to the product side. As we can see, we have one potassium, one chlorine, and then two oxygen. Okay, so if we're going to take a look on their number of atoms here, it seems that they are not balanced by oxygen. Oxygen 3, oxygen 2. So in order to fix this, it's like, changing the number of 2 and 3 by shifting that to the right and to the left by the numbers of 3 and 2. So we're gonna put here 3, we're gonna put there 2. So those are the coefficients that we need to balance like as a whole thing. Okay, so now the two coefficient we're going to multiply in its number of atoms per element, such that potassium 2, chlorine 2, oxygen is 3. Now let's gonna start with oxygen first. Since I wrote down 2 right there, so 2 multiplied by 3, so I'm gonna change this into 6. And then I'm gonna go to the product side, and then 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. So it's easy to balance this one because you're just gonna flip 3 and 2 and 2 and 3, kind of like that. Remember, balancing is always trial and error. Now, once we finish oxygen, it's easy to follow because we have 2 right there. So what happened to potassium right here? So 2 multiplied by 1, it became 2. Now, 2 multiplied by another 1 per chlorine atom, so that means 2. Now, what do you think? What are we going to do with the product side? Since this is 2, this is 2, so I'm going to make this also 2 by writing down here 2. So I wrote that down. And then I'm going to change this into 2. And then the chlorine also into 2. So it's easy to balance. So we now have a coefficient 2, another 2, another 3. So 2, 2, and 3. Now this is the completion of a chemical equation, just like what I have said. It could be attained through a law of conservation of mass. Mass of reactant is equal to mass of product. Okay? So it is now balanced.